Hello, Sensei. Hello, ministers. I'm not going to be able to attend the class live today, so I'm going to do my presentation via this video. Jumping right on in, starting with Scott San. He writes that freedom is an illusion. We are dependent on conditions, and we're nothing without other people. We're nothing without nature. And writes, without our atmosphere, water, and trees, we wouldn't be able to breathe. And when we go further along this thought process, without other people, we wouldn't have the clothing that we wear. We wouldn't have the food at the store for us to even buy it. A lot of people have that notion that, hey, well, I make, so much money and I can do whatever I want. And true, it's a good thing to work and it's a good thing to make a living, but you're still dependent on other people to create those products that you want to buy. So we have to remember that we are all codependent and we do need other people and we do definitely need nature. So when we think that we're independent, we need to really think again. Moving on to Tony San, he writes about the ego, or what I like to call pride as well. And he tells us how the ego deceives us into thinking we have a strong sense of self, and it makes us strive to acquire things that really aren't good for us. And he writes that this is the root cause of a lot of our anxiety and our constraints. We really are prisoners of our own device. We buy things that we don't need, and then we're stressing because we've become slaves to payments now. Moving on to Sarah San, and I really liked what Sarah San had to write this week. She writes about, and I think that this is something that we've been learning in this course, and that Reverend Kubose has really been kind of pushing us to, and or leading us to, should I say. And she writes that about an American Buddhism that has no single tradition, but is an amalgamation of core Buddhist practices and our zeal for individuality and freedom. But more individuality is in freedom of thought, freedom of mind. And she talks about a Buddhism that will enable us greater freedom and the ability to flex imagination at the individual level, yet still governed by institutions or masters or gurus. So still being, kind of kept in check or led by, these individuals that have been studying this for a long time and been living it for a long time. She writes that imagination is something that sets us apart as humans, and this has brought about great evolution in our culture, technology, and science. It's really brought us ahead. It's caused some bad stuff too, of course, but I think that it has done more good than harm. And she writes, when we are so attached to certain teachings or specific interpretations of teachings, there's no room for imagination. She writes that sometimes dogma and rules can be an ugly institution. And I think this really comes down to, people that just want to kind of close their minds. They don't want to accept anything new, see anything new. And I think that this is really sad. And I think that it is definitely cutting off the imagination and cutting off progress, mentally, spiritually, even physically. And she writes at the end that as a teacher, or I would even say a minister, or just a Dharma friend, we should encourage imagination, because imagination is what's going to take us into the future. One thing that this book has really taught us is that we need to evolve, or if not, the Buddhism's just going to be, we're going to become some kind of preservation society that, hey, we got to, keep this old building alive so it doesn't destroy. And there is a place for that. I mean, we definitely need that. But I think that Buddhism needs to grow and progress with the times, and it needs to be relevant to our day and time that we're living in right here, right now. And that's all I have today. Thank you so much. Until the next time.